Alright guys, so in continuing with this, now I'm going to kind of give you another idea, which as usual I have no clue how this is going to turn out, but you can use your imagination. This is if you want to take a re-edit and make a mashup. Now you don't have to take the first song and edit it necessarily, you could just basically pull two songs in to your DAW. No need to really edit them as you've been seeing in this series. Not necessarily, at least. But what you could do is basically take the best parts from each song and mash them together, more or less. So let's take a listen here.
Yeah. Well, ladies, now, I want everybody for this. Get.
Okay, so I think I already know what I'm going to do. I pulled in two of my own songs, so no copyright issues could happen. But let me just see here, because in this song by me, Tropical Ravers, there's the second drop is pretty surprising, and I'd like to use that similar in this mashup to how I used it in the original track itself, basically a surprise. So let's see where it's at. There it is. It's kind of like a old school DJ Irene, Chicago hard house kind of, slower hard style kind of thing. There it is. I think that's where it starts.
Tropical ravers! Tropical ravers! Tropical ravers! Tropical ravers!
Okay, cool. So right where I put the cursor, right there, I can do Control E, and I think it's pretty safe to say I can delete the rest. Although if this doesn't work out, I'll come to regret that, but that's okay. I think you guys will get the idea here. So basically, the build-up of this song is going to drop into the surprising drop of this song. And then from there, to keep it cohesive, I might even get rid of all of this and let the rest of this song play out. Let's see if it works. One thing I did forget to mention, guys, when you do pull in two different tracks like this, it's a very good idea to make sure they're in the same key, or at least compare them. If they're not in the same key, make sure that the two keys will work by using the Camelot wheel, which you can look up, and I'll also make a video on right after this one. Basically music theory, just make sure that the keys work if they're not the same key. I am completely contradicting myself here because I'm trying to get this video done and just get the example across, but I think that these are in the same key. If they're not, shame on me, but at the very least you will understand the kind of intention here.
Yeah. Well, ladies, now, I want everybody for this. Get lively now. All the party people in the place, let's get up and rock and shock. Oh, because someone kill a day tonight. Nice of the area. See it? Hey!
Pretty cool. I think it worked. I think that maybe this track was mastered a little bit lower. So what you could do then in that case is keep it on its own track, and you might just bump it up a decibel or two. And if you don't want to use your ears, or you're feeling not confident about that, you can always use our free friend here, Span. Or of course, you can use some of the other stuff that we've talked about in the advanced production course that can really zero in on it. But essentially they all do the same thing. It's just the paid stuff is a lot smoother and a lot more in-depth, kind of more current day, rather than kind of, not necessarily that Span is from yesteryear, but it's a great tool. It's just it's kind of bare bones based on what other people have done to take this and elevate it this day and age. So let's just look at the volume generally here.
Lively now. All the party people in the place, let's get up and rock and shock. Oh, because some white killer there tonight. Nice of the area. See it?
Yeah, so you can see that there's kind of a dip in volume there. It's not too bad. We might, if I can remember how the heck to... Yeah, we might go to average. Let's see how that looks.
Lively now. All the party people in the place, let's get up and rock and shock. Oh, because some white killer there tonight. Nice of the area. See it?
So right at around 1K there, I don't really notice too much of a difference. And by focusing on watching it, my kind of hearing, since humans can't technically multitask, you know, the part of my brain that was hearing was very kind of in the background, subconscious, I guess you could say. And I didn't hear too big of a difference there. So I think the 2 decibel boost is pretty okay.
Lively now. All the party people in the place, let's get up and rock and shock. Oh, because some white killer there tonight. Nice of the area. See it?
It's not bad at all. Arguably, some might say boost it up a dB or 2 more. We could try it, I guess, just for kind of the mix engineer in all of us.
All the party people in the place, let's get up and rock and shock. Oh, because some white killer there tonight. Nice of the area. See it?
I'm not mad at that either. So there you go. I mean, I boosted by 2 more dB, and that seems to be even better than the previous. So you could mess with that, guys. You could maybe split the difference and go for 3. You might even cheat and go up 5 and start to see where the audible difference becomes, or where the audible difference is. You know, if the jump from this song to this song is noticeably louder, I would obviously back off a little bit. An old mix technique, which I'll probably have to make another video on this just to throw in a more appropriate place, but I can't remember who had said it to me, but basically if you're never sure in a situation like this, take your volume fader, in this case right here, boost it up until you can hear a difference, right? And then boost it down until you can hear a difference. So let it play like we just did. And then when you hear a difference of it obviously being louder from the switch from this song to that song, make a note of that. Let's say that's at +6. Do it again and start taking away decibels. And when you hear the noticeable difference during the switch from this song to this song, let's say that's at like -2, you know that somewhere in between -2, right? Right there, -2 and +6, somewhere in between that is the answer. You know, you could split the difference and say maybe like 3, you know, +3, and then see how that feels for you. But then, you know, just kind of float in between there. But that's a really good way to get clarity if you're feeling like new or just intimidated towards like, well, how loud do I boost it and how do I know what is right? Well, you'll definitely be able to hear when it's too low, and you'll definitely be able to hear when it's too loud. And if you make a note of where that's at for each of those points, you know that it's somewhere in the middle there, more or less, that the right answer exists. So hope that was helpful, guys. That's a really cool way to mash up your own tunes or mash up other people's tunes. If you combine all of that, because keep in mind, guys, you could take a lesson from the previous video, and during the second drop here where we go into the other song, this is a great place where you could drag a vocal sample in as well that might say something like rock the beat, rock the beat, or whatever it might be. So you might add a third track here with the vocal sample on it. So now you've got your original tune, your second tune, and now a vocal track on top of that. That way, even if people know the songs, they won't know the mashup with the vocal samples on top of it. So just another way to kind of make your mashups and your re-edits a little bit more complex, rather than just being like, oh, okay, Mikey just chopped, you know, half of his 2 songs and fused them together. It becomes a lot more interesting when you chop half of your 2 songs, fuse them together, and throw on top of that a really motivating or uplifting vocal sample. In appropriate places, of course, where it doesn't clash with other vocals. So keep that in mind, experiment, have fun. I'll see you guys in the next video.